Hey everyone, it's good to see you again. We are going to hang out and talk about when it's the right time to start hiring for your YouTube team, as well as how to do that and when's the right time and all that kind of stuff. Clintus is in the hot seat, and we'll hear a little bit about his situation and his story here coming up in a second. But before we do that, there's a couple of things I want you guys to do. First of all, you can tweet me at Tim Schmoyer with your comments and thoughts as we go through this topic. It's gonna be a lot of good stuff, and we're not gonna be taking questions, unfortunately, but if you have things that you want to you want to share that you think will be helpful for everyone watching, I'll be sharing your tweets on screen, so tweet me at Tim Schmoyer. And also, before we hop into that, I want to let you guys know, I sometimes forget to do this, but down in the comment or in the description of this video, you can find links to everyone's channel who is a part of these hangouts, a part of these live streams with you guys. All of these creators are here somewhat maybe because they want to learn and grow themselves, but they also are here because their heart is to serve you guys and give you guys a kind of behind the scenes look at what they're doing in the business side of their channel to help you develop your own audience, your own channel, and the business side of your channel as well. So you can subscribe to all of them down there below. One of the things that is really important is that I'm really thankful for are people who sponsor this show and make it possible for all of us to hang out with you guys, like vidIQ. And if you guys aren't familiar with vidIQ, there's a link to them in the description also, where you get this is the only exclusive, only the place you can get this deal for 30 days. Try out any of their service plans for free. And what you can do with this, you can see on my screen, there's lots of stuff. We talked about how it lets you see other people's stats, how it lets you manage comments. We've seen how it gives you really good metadata, help you write better tags and titles and descriptions for your videos. But one of the things that maybe not a lot of people know about with the Chrome extension also is that it integrates into your video manager and lets you do a lot of cool things, such as mass edit videos. Maybe you have like a link that's you have in all the descriptions of your videos, but that link is now changed. You want to switch that link. You can, across all your videos, you can do that here. Mass edit cards and annotations. Even one of the, I know a favorite tool a lot of people use is this thing where they can copy annotations and copy cards from one video and then paste them to another video at the same spot, same links and everything. That saves people a lot of time. If you have like default cards that you use over and over again, you can use that. Sometimes maybe you don't have the time to create a quick thumbnail, or you don't have the resources or the software to do it, like Photoshop, and you don't really like the 3 that Google gave you. So you can go in here. Let's just pick one of these for kicks, and you do the thumbnail editor right here. And so then you can just pick any of these frames. You can skip through frame by frame by frame, pick the one that you want to use, and click next, and turn any frame of your video into a thumbnail. You can also do some other stuff with the editor here as well. You can do advanced embed, which lets you get lots of controls of how you embed this into various sites. And one thing that I also like is you can also use this to archive, like back up your video onto another host. And then once that's backed up, you can then distribute your video, upload it one time and distribute it to Facebook video and YouTube and other platforms as they roll them out, all within just a click of a button, rather than have to upload every single time to all these different places. So I really like vidIQ. Like I said in an earlier episode, the main reason I use it is to research titles and tags and descriptions, which you guys get when you start uploading a video, or even if I was go here to edit a video, it should probably show them to me here as well. You know, I can boost this video and then start getting a lot of recommended tags and ideas, and you know, I can see their searches, volume, how much competition there is for different keywords that they recommend. So a lot of cool stuff. You guys check it out. You get any of their paid plans for free for 1 month by using the promo code VideoCreatorsTV down in the description below. So go check that out. And I know you guys will love it. So let's talk with Evan. Hi, Evan. Or I'm sorry, let's Clintus. We want to talk to you too, Evan.
I'm like, hey, Tim, what's up?
You're like, oh, Clintus is like, no love for me today, huh? So Clintus, you're in the hot seat today. Tell us a little bit about where you were the last time you were in the hot seat, what your goals were, and where you're at with those, and then how can we help you today?
All right, yeah. So last time I was in the hot seat, we talked about organization and the different tools that the creators here use on a regular basis. We had some really good points. Evan was talking about, that it didn't really matter about the tools. It was more about like my discipline and, me personally, and how I manage my time, manage things and my priorities. Mm-hmm. And though I still have some area to grow in, and I'm still kind of finding my way, I think the biggest thing I came away from it was that I do need to kind of figure out what my goals are. I mean, I kind of have my overall plan laid out. I know where I'm going, but it's like I'm on the road and I'm going in that direction, but I don't quite know where I'm going. It's kind of where I feel right now. Last year was amazing. My first full year as a business, and things were going really well. The business was going very well, and I got to a point where I was kind of like in cruise control, and the car's just driving itself, right? I hopped in the back seat. I'm an Uber driver, taking the lead. So I need to this year I've been trying to focus more on, okay, what are the goals that I want for my business? And so far, like I started to say last week before we had audio problems, my whiteboard is where my big rocks are. So like my big items that I need to take care of, those are the priorities. They may not be like something I'm doing right now, but it's a constant reminder. That's what I need to do, things that I need to take care of. I have been using my calendar more because it kind of harks back to my days back in corporate America where I lived and died by my Outlook calendar.
Yeah.
Scheduling my tasks for, certain times of day. I recently changed my schedule, my personal schedule around where when I do my live streams for my other channel, I was doing them at night. And what was happening was all I was thinking about was my other channel and what I was doing tonight and what I was going to do and trying to move other things around so I didn't miss that deadline. And instead, I've moved it where I'm doing my live streams kind of in the middle of the day. So I get a little bit of work done in the morning, come my press in, like, let's check email, let's do that. And then I stream, and I do the family thing, the vlog thing. And then at night is when everything's calm and cool. I've already done my fun stuff. I've already done that kind of work. I can just chill and do like the CEO business work, catch up on things, strategize. And so far it's been working really well. I felt really good the last 4 weeks. It seems like I'm getting in a groove now. Like I said, I think the biggest problem for me was just trying to figure out what that was that I was driving for.
Yeah.
I feel like I was just driving, but with no destination in mind. I'm just cruising.
Yeah, on autopilot.
Right.
That's one of the hardest places to be. I hate being there, but cool. I'm glad you've kind of moved out of that. How can we help you here today?
So with that being said, one of the small topics we talked about on my last hot seat was potentially getting an assistant or bringing on some other people to help me with the workload, because I feel like I want to take it all on. I want to do everything. And, in my mind, I'm like, I can do everything, but it's just a matter of like, what do I do first? And, a lot of entrepreneurs and people that kind of do their own thing on a regular basis, they know at some point the workload just gets too heavy for one person, and it's more efficient to break away some of that onto some other people. So my question is where do you, for you guys, for some of you, I know some of you guys have employees, some of you don't, maybe you're thinking the same thing I am. At what point do you feel like it's time to start moving some of the tasks off to someone else? And what are your best recommendations for doing that and finding those helpers?
Good topic.
You do it when you feel limited. You do it when you want to do other projects and you're held back because you're doing stuff that you don't like. You do it when you're not passionate about the work that you are doing. I've got 19 people on my team, and in terms of the YouTube side, just hiring a editor was the biggest thing for me. I went from one video a week to one a day because I had an editor, and because I didn't want to become an editor, I did it because you have to. Like when you first start off, you do everything because you have to do everything. But as soon as I could afford it, I hired a part-time editor, and that really ramped up my production and made me happier. Like I've seen some of your stuff, and you're amazing on camera and so much humor and energy. And it'd be great to have more of that and maybe less of the back work admin stuff that you're dealing with that are holding you back from doing something great.
Good point.
Yeah, I find it's just when there's so many ideas and things I want to do, and I just have to realize I'm working 7 days a week. I don't have time to get everything done that I want to do. And I just recently hired a business manager, and she has lifted so much weight off my shoulders just to do a lot of these tasks that I need to get done. I want to get done, but I just don't have time to. And so it can free me up to kind of grow the business in other ways that I want to do.
How did you know when you were ready to do that, Steve?
Actually, I think it happened on this show, because early on, one of our first episodes, I don't even know if we were talking off camera or on during the show, but I'd mentioned that, wow, I'm kind of getting just worn out. I'm working 7 days a week. I don't have a day off. Each day I'm spending 12, 13, 14 hours a day working, and something's got to change, because I still have a lot of things I want to do and want to get accomplished, and I can't do them all. And I just keep wanting to add more to my plate, and something's got to give. And so that was why Tim helped me out in finding a business manager, and big, huge help.
Steve and I are sharing the same business manager now, by the way. So
she's great. I mean, wow. Just to organize things a little bit better for me, things that I was kind of like just throwing darts here and here. Let's see what works here. Let's see what works here. She can really help keep me focused.
So how would you classify a business manager versus, because I have my interpretation. When you say businessman, I'm picturing this. What's the difference between, say, a business manager and like an assistant? Is she being more strategy? Is she helping you guys more with strategy and like planning?
Yeah, I mean, Tim, I think that you can attest to that. It's a lot of what she's doing is kind of assistant work, but she's going to be actually hiring assistants of her own to help out with some of the stuff that I'm putting on her and having her do, so that the repetitive tasks can get done kind of further down the line, I guess. But ideally, yeah, she will be helping me strategize more with the business and figure out more of a plan and a focus.
Yeah, so she has her MBA, just graduated, and is learning the business side of YouTube stuff, and I'm teaching her a lot of that myself, but she does a lot of administrative, plus I know I can train her, like, here's how I go out and get brand deals, here's how we interact with brands, and then so then she's almost to the point where she's doing all the brand deal stuff on her own too. Like, I tell her, just go out, here's who I want to work with, go find it, go land it for me, And so she does a lot of that. Plus then I give her 30% of any deals she brings to the table as a little extra bonus, thank you, incentive thing, on top of paying her hourly wage for it. But to answer the question, like when, to me it was when I noticed I was in a similar spot as you, Clintus, where I was doing so much stuff, and I felt like I no longer had time to work on the projects that I was really excited about, the things I was passionate about, the things I got started to do YouTube, the things I got started to accomplish on YouTube in the first place, and that only happens, and we haven't talked about this, but you need to have like a business model that, one, allows you to be able to afford to hire someone, but two, a system in place that lets you earn more money off of that person's work, right? So if the way I think about it, and Evan and Amy and Lindsay and other people might be able to talk more about this than I can, but if I'm going to pay someone, for the sake of easy math, if I'm going to pay someone $5,000 a month to do a task for me, which is like a full-time job, right? Does their work contribute to my team in such a way that enables our team to then earn $15,000 a month that we otherwise wouldn't have been able to earn, right? Because otherwise it's not sustainable. I'm just going to keep paying someone the money that should be going to my family, or the money, like I can do it for a month, but then not the next month, right? No one wants that job. So I think the thing that was helpful for me in the beginning is like, I'm going to pay this person, but I have to have a plan in place that lets me use the time they're freeing up to earn 3 to 5 times more money. Maybe not on an individual basis, on a team basis. So.
And so I think that's my worry at the moment is, I guess technically I can afford to hire someone based on some of the rates and figures that I've researched. But to your point, freeing up that time, I then need to try and focus and that energy into making the more money, whether it's the person making the money, like where they're reaching out for brand deals, which is one of the things I probably have them do is, here's a list of brands I want to work with. Here's my pitch deck. Go start hitting them up, right? Because it's just one of the things that's on my back of my mind, on my to-do list that I'm not doing right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I think that's probably where I'm at right now with the worry is like, yeah, I can afford to pay them, but like you said, is it just money going out the door, freeing up time for me, but not necessarily bringing more income in?
Yeah, that's what's so important is really understanding, you know, what it is and why you're trying to outsource it in the first place, because it's so easy to just say like, oh, I just want to offload editing. You should absolutely not be doing something if you suck at it and it's extremely important to your business. But at the same time,
like
if you
accounting.
right, it's hard to hire somebody unless you just have the extra revenue apparently to just pay them to take things off your plate so that you can get back free time. It really is like a moving of what you're good at in terms of, if let's say it's an assistant, not a business manager, and it's an assistant that's just doing some little things like checking emails and making schedule, you know, like helping to make sure you're maintaining that schedule of productivity, things like that. You're going to be the one that's probably like, great, now I have more time to go and find those brand deals. Like that would be like a good way of kind of looking at it is, don't be worried about it if it's going to give you an opportunity to do something that's going to bring in more revenue or to coordinate something that's going to bring in more revenue. You don't want to just hire somebody because everybody's telling you got to scale your time. You've got to have your time's worth more. That's the whole point. If it's really worth more, then you're achieving more during that time than you would editing a video, checking email or something like that, depending on what happens in those two areas. I guess if you're checking email and you're getting brand deals in your email, it's a different story, but it's just sort of a balance of that.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what it is too. The balance, it's a balancing thing. Cause I'll go do XYZ, but I'm not doing my email. My email might sit an extra couple of days, right? I see them come across my watch or my phone and it's like, oh, I got that email from so-and-so. At the moment I don't check it. I can't check it. And then I forget to check it until the next morning or when I log in and I'm scrolling through emails like, oh, what was the email I got from somebody about something, right? Whereas, you know, that might be something that I have someone do like, hey, they filter out the emails and say, hey, these are the ones you need to hit. These are the ones you need to reply to today, right? Mm-hmm. And even then, like, I feel like that's one of the biggest things I need that extra person just to like ping me, right? It's more of like, hey, you need to make sure you check on this, do this. You know, like I laugh when I talk about assistants and stuff like that. Like my vision of an assistant is that person through my front door first thing in the morning with a cup of coffee and, you know, an iPad or orange. You have a 9 o'clock with Tim. Yeah. You know, like
Devil Wears Prada featuring Clintus.
Right, exactly. Right, where they know my schedule, they know my tasks. These are the things you need to get done today. You know, we sit down, like say Monday morning, and we plot out the week, and then they kind of hold me accountable to those tasks, right? Because one of the struggles that I've had, and I'm sure I'm not alone on this, is that I struggle being my own boss and holding myself accountable because it's so easy to go and do other things and to just put that off. And you know, Evan said something really, really it was like a dart, man. It was like around the point was. I got complacent this last year towards the end because things were just going so well that I was like, well, I don't have to do that right now. Like the business it's not life or death if I get this done right now. Right. And there's nobody going, yo, where's this thing at? You know, I don't have that. And I failed at being my own boss 10 years ago. I took a shot trying to make my films and my movies and pursue my dream at 23 years old, and I failed miserably because I couldn't be my own boss. I was not diligent enough. I kind of just coasted through, and you know, it didn't work out, and I got a bunch of debt, had to go back to the 9 to 5. And you know, 10 years later I'm trying it again and it's working, but I'm very, very self-aware and very self-conscious of like, okay, don't make the same mistakes I made 10 years ago.
Yeah.
You know,
I think knowing your weaknesses is good. It's important. And then, I don't know what you guys think about this. Like if you should hire to those weaknesses, like accounting, numbers, that was my first, not hire for my team. They're on my team, but like they're just, you know, they're contracted and I just pay them a monthly fee to do all the numbers, which that alone, like I know for some people thrive in Excel. I am not one of them. Like that makes me go crazy. And so that alone just freed up the emotional drain. And then
I was just gonna
I don't mind.
I was going to make the
but
same recommendation, Tim, that anybody, if you're really starting your business, before thinking about, a business manager or something, I would definitely recommend getting a good bookkeeper, because a bookkeeper is not somebody that's going to be working on your books every single day. I have my bookkeeper like quarterly, balances the books, gets everything squared away, deals with QuickBooks, the numbers, all of that stuff, and also have a good accountant for taxes. And I think it's good to have a lawyer, not one that's on retainer or anything, but somebody who you can hire and ask for some general legal advice, especially if you have some sort of knowledge of YouTube and video creation. Those are also people I would consider those people kind of on my team, and an ad rep too, who works on a percentage basis.
I think it's also, I'm sorry, Lindsay, do you want to jump in?
I will. You can go first. I'll go after.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, like, I think it's like there's like the side of hiring people that have a specialty in those areas, like have the accountant, have the attorney. Like, I'm not gonna fight that, but it sounds more like you're thinking of like an accountability partner type of hire as well. So I actually think when you say hire to accommodate for your weaknesses, that if we're identifying your main weakness, not as a lot of different areas of your business, maybe you enjoy your invoicing and editing and all these things, but you just need somebody to remind you to pay attention to them on whatever regular basis that is. That to me just sounds like a project manager in some way, right? So if you're and I think about this really great quiz that I've been recommending to everybody lately, and I'm having all my clients take it because it was created by Gretchen Rubin, and it's called the 4 Tendencies, and it basically puts you into a category based on how you meet expectations. Are you about inner expectations, outer expectations, both, one or the other, or neither? And surprisingly, lots of people in my comment section are rebels, which is like the smallest like population of these tendencies, which means you do not meet inner expectations or outer expectations. So I found that really interesting. But it sounds like you're an obliger, which meets outer expectations, and inner expectations maybe fall by the wayside, which means you do need somebody saying like, Clintus, your accounting reports are due, or Clintus, you need to edit Monday's video because we gotta get it pre-approved with the brand, or that sounds more like what you're asking for. So I just think if you better identify yourself and what your needs are, that's going to help you figure out, okay, maybe I don't see the ROI on this hire yet, but I know truly that I'm going to fail if I don't have this because I already have the experience previously that I didn't have that. And I know it probably would have made the difference at this point, 10 years later, learning from that mistake.
4 tendencies, huh?
Yeah.
All right. I'll look it up.
It's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that people might want to hire different positions. Everyone's talking about an editor because it's so time consuming, but I once worked with an editor, and I found it was just so much easier to do it myself rather than try to explain what I want done, even though to me it seemed very obvious. Cut out the parts that aren't unnecessary. And I find if you do voiceovers, having an editor may be very inefficient, because if you have to send over a voice file, then tell them exactly how you want it clipped. You may look for other things that aren't necessarily in your business that you want to hire out to free up time. Like maybe you need someone to mow your lawn, or to, clean your home, or to, pick up your kids from school. It might be offloading those tasks that free up more time. Yeah, I mean, because I still find time to waste time, even though it seems like, oh, if I had, help, I'd do this and this and this. I mean, honestly, what I need is a cook and a housekeeper, because those are tasks I do not like. Those would free up a couple hours a day, and then I could edit my videos exactly the way I want, and not be like, oh, well, I hate to pay for somebody to redo this because it's not quite right. Look at what you really want to be spending your time doing. I mean, I love almost every aspect of my business. I don't want to hand it off, and it seems like I'd spend more time explaining to somebody, but hey, I'm pretty sure, anyone can clean a house better than I can. I'm not going to tell them their business, let them go for it, and then, get to do the business part myself.
No, that's a good point. You're absolutely correct. I mean, it's picking and choosing the tasks, like you said, that I don't either I don't want to do, or, I mean, there's some that I'm not doing. That's my other thing too, is like I said, there's things that I'm not doing that I know I should be. 2015 was the brand deals coming to me. 2016, I want to go out to the brands, right? There's certain key brands I want to reach out to. And so like, that's just not something that I have like all right, today I'm going to go email Red Bull. Like I don't have that. Right. But I know that I want to. So that's like one of the first things I'm going to have someone do is like, hey, here's 10 brands I want to work with. Here's a pitch deck. It's ready to rock and roll for these 10 brands. Go look on their website for their media contact or, do some research and figure that out. Like that'd be one of the first things to do.
Clintus, in thinking of hiring, you want to understand if you're hiring somebody for their skills or just their time. So if you've never gone out and done brand deals, then you don't necessarily know the process to get a brand deal, right? So you may want to figure that out first of you doing a couple, and then you can teach somebody or bring on somebody who has those skills already. Where if you're bringing on an assistant and you're saying, hey, here are some ideas to go out and get some brand deals, you're going to waste a lot of time because you've never actually gone out and pitched.
That's a good point.
So you want to hire for the skills that you're going after. Couple of thoughts. One, you don't need to hire full time. You don't need $5,000 a month. I know Tim was just throwing out numbers,
Yeah,
but
I was just throwing a number.
The first person I hire is for 1 hour a day. I'm hiring 20th person on my team right now just to book meetings in my calendar. It's like 5 hours a week to start on Upwork, right? Tim has a great video on Upwork on how to hire there.
And I actually pre-linked it in the description of this video you guys watching on YouTube.
Nice.
Or if you're listening to the audio recording of this podcast in iTunes, SoundCloud, or Stitcher, I'll put it in the show notes. But because a lot of the questions in the chat, sorry to interrupt, Evan, but are asking these: how do you first hire? How do you find someone to hire? How do you go about finding these people? What does the hiring process look like? And we have videos about all that stuff as a playlist. You guys can go check out that. So go ahead, Evan. Sorry.
Yeah, no. So you don't need to hire full time, and it's probably better not to at the start. If you don't have any experience managing somebody, having a full time person on board can be stressful. You need to make time for them too. You think, oh, I've got all this stuff, I'm going to just dump it on this person. But you need to make time for them too, to train them, set expectations, understand, the human being that they are. And it's definitely a skill that you work on. Rounding out and thinking about who to hire, I'd be looking at what do you want to be the best in the world at? And to Lindsay's point about not hiring an editor, it could also just be about having hired the wrong person. Because if you continue to do everything always yourself, then you're still going to be limited. Like you'll just be a one-man show. So yes, I agree. I have somebody that comes and cleans my house every 2 weeks. That's awesome. But at the same time, on the business side, like where is Brand Clintus going? What are you going to be the best in the world at? And then what are the positions that you need to fill up? Because you can get really talented people who are better than you at the things that you're doing behind the scenes. Beyond just like, so the first step might be the nag assistant person who's like, hey, Clintus, you got to make sure you're doing that. That's awesome. To kind of train your managerial skills. But like, where are you going next? Like, is Clintus going to be the on-camera guy? Is Clintus going to be the producer? Is Clintus going to be the talent agent kind of representing other new channels that are coming up? Where do you want to evolve? And then what team do you need to build around you to make that big Clintus brand vision TV thing happen?
I have two other miscellaneous thoughts, but anything else related to this, Clintus? I don't want to.
No, I mean that was basically just like I said. The last hot seat was just the exact same way. I kind of want to just throw a couple things out. Here's some things I'm thinking about. Here's some questions I have, and then let you guys kind of just throw the stuff into the pot, and let me stew on it, because that's really what it is. 9 times out of 10, I just need to bounce an idea off of somebody and hear what they have to say, and then I kind of start to noodle it myself. Yeah.
So two thoughts. One, and I learned this the hard way, is that often when you're first hiring, you go into it thinking that this person's going to solve all your problems. They're going to free up so much of your time that it's going to be amazing. And as soon as they're on board, you are home free, right? And that is never the case. I expect that when I bring someone onto my team, even if it's like, and I totally agree with Evan, bring someone on just like an hourly, quarter time, even less time basis for different tasks and things. Like they always take more of your time than if you would have just done it on your own. My planning, I usually plan for it to take around 3 months. So for 3 months, I expect that I'm going to be doing a lot more work in training this person, plus doing it and bringing them alongside of me in order to train them to do it. And then after 3 months, if I'm still am doing it pretty much on my own, or it takes me just as long to review their work as it did for me to just do it myself, things like that, then I'm like, okay, maybe this isn't going to work. So upfront, takes a lot more time. And then the second thing is, in order to make it as successful as possible for both you and for the person you're hiring to have a good experience, you need to have systems in place that let you bring almost anyone into that position and they can start excelling in that. So it's not like, well, I know how to do this research because I've done it 1,000 times. Well, you need to figure out, like, systematize it somehow. Like, there's a reason why you can go to any McDonald's and get the same exact experience in any McDonald's, because they have systems in place for take the burger out, you flip it on this side for 90 seconds, flip side for whatever seconds, assuming they cook it. And then, all this stuff, so you get the same experience in every location, regardless of the people who are running it. And that's what you have to do with your business. So 2 books that really helped me with all this. One was E-Myth, and the subtitle is like Why Most Small Businesses Fail and What You Can Do About It, or something like that. And that's like super helpful in helping me think about, if I'm really going to grow and scale my business, it has to be based on systems that I can train other people to do and that they can then train other people to do that are scalable. And the second book, and I think, Amy, you could probably talk about this book more than I can, but Chris Ducker's book, Virtual Freedom, was really helpful.
2-year anniversary for that book, actually.
You what?
2-year anniversary for that
is
book.
it?
He was just announcing that on Snapchat. I literally right before I got on, I heard him say that.
Yeah.
It's very, very good book.
Very timely. Yeah.
Yes.
And that book is for hiring people who are going to be like virtual assistants and things like that, like through Upwork, not people who are going to be working with you in the same office space. But the principles there still of setting up systems that you can put into place to hire people and make it easy for them was really helpful for me, and that was the mistake I made with my first hire.
What was it? Virtual what?
Virtual
Freedom.
Freedom. Got it.
Yeah. So that one and E-Myth,
Okay.
highly recommend. So
Sweet. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate that. Like I said, more than anything, it's just a kickoff. It's a starting point of like, okay, some things to think about. Because like I said, I've been talking about it for probably about a month now, a little over a month of like, yeah, I need an assistant. I'm like, okay, yeah, but I feel like I need 2 different things, right? I need the kind of the business, like future path plowing, and then I also need someone, like I said, kind of just like, checking in on me, going, hey, today you have this, and this, and then tomorrow it's like, hey, how'd that go? Did you get this done? I don't know. Like, I when I say it, it sounds silly. It sounds like I need a
totally. I get that.
I need a mom.
No, because for me, it's like I got so many things going on in my head of so many projects and tasks and things I got to do, places I got to be, people I got to talk to, that like someone just like keep me focused and on task. It's like, okay, Tim, I know you're distracted by that meeting coming up next week, but you got this meeting right now.
Right. Right.
Super helpful for me. So any other last thoughts here? Cool.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, sweet. So this has been awesome. I hope this has been helpful for you guys who are hanging out. A couple quick things real quick. One is, remember, you can get the audio recording of this in iTunes, SoundCloud, and Stitcher. Links to those are in the description below. You can also go subscribe to Clintus's daily vlogging channel down there, because I'm assuming he'll vlog if he hires someone, but maybe not. But you can follow along with his journey down there as well as everyone else. And then next week is our very last episode of this trial 12 episode series we've been doing here for our video entrepreneurs. So next week I want to spend a little bit of extra time with you guys, just getting some feedback, interacting with you guys in the chat and the comments, getting your ideas for how to improve it and how we should make this better for you. And we already have some ideas how we're going to improve this, but I'd love to interact with you guys after next week's session if you guys don't mind. So it'd be awesome. If this is your first time here, we'd love to have you subscribe. This channel is all about helping you guys grow your YouTube audiences and build the businesses that you need in order to make your content sustainable so that you can continue to serve people well and spread a message that changes their lives. So thanks for hanging out with us here today, guys. We will see you guys again next week, same time, for another episode of Video Entrepreneurs. See you then. Bye.